Even though Eli wasn't listening to God himself at the moment, he did at least recognize the possibility of divine communication so that he was able to help Simeon have a conversation with God. Hearing the stories of divine messages, the stories of God communicating directly with people, help us to live into the possibility of hearing God's voice for ourselves. Do you have a story you'd like to share about a time when you heard God communicate with you? Did you recognize God's voice right away? Did God have to repeat the message a few times before you finally caught on? What do you hear right now? Is it thunder, or maybe static, just white noise? Or is God trying to get through to you about something? Does anyone have something you'd like to share right now when you've heard God clearly? Susie?
You know, I read something and it really made me think that when you pray to God and you ask Him to answer, to be an audience and not an audition. Because you really have to stop and try not to think of anything but waiting to hear His voice. And that's very, very hard to do.
It is.
It often puts me to sleep, but I mean, you just have to focus just on trying to listen to Him. And we often don't do that. We're too busy saying, I want this, and I need this, and please help them get better, and instead of stopping to just listen.
And even the falling asleep part is okay, because maybe in your sleep you'll get a dream that gives you the message you needed.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
When I really heard God's voice was when I was in labor with Pete, my second son. And anything and everything that would have been wrong with that delivery was happening. But God told me to trust. And my midwife, who I call my angel, because I was 7 months pregnant, and she called me and says, God told me you need me. She said, Barbara, if you want to go to the hospital, I'll go with you. And something said no. And I said, no, we're staying right here. Whatever happens, God will take care of it. I know God can do this. And whatever it is, He will let me know why. And I stayed home and gave birth to my son. He was trying to come and breach. We prayed. I saw my baby turn in my belly and fall right into place. He was born in the water sack with the cord around his neck. And the cord was so weak that I picked it up and did like this, and it broke in half. And in my heart, I know if I would have went to the hospital, my baby would have died. I know that without any doubt.
Sometimes,
I'm sorry, Lori. You said something to me one time when Mom was passing to look for the blessings. And sometimes, you know, I've caught myself, you're so focused on what's wrong, what's bad, and what's going on that you forget that there are blessings. So, you know, even that moment when those are happening was a blessing. So sometimes we forget to open ourselves up to that. And that's when He comes through. So just look for the blessings, not always the worst.
I just know when I try to rely on myself and my thoughts, and instead of relying on God, things always go wrong. You just have to trust that, you know, what you feel in your heart, because God talks to your heart. And when you try to go against that, it always turns out bad.
Several years ago, there were some people I thought were friends of mine that ended up not being involved. My house being broken into, and attacks on my character, and with theater community, and things that were being said that weren't true. And I was sitting in my car driving, and I kept going, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why are these people doing this stuff to me? You know, I thought we were friends. Like for 12 years we've been friends. And so what is going on? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? And as clear as if somebody were sitting in the car next to me, this voice said, to get rid of the toxic people in your life. And I stopped fighting it. And now they're out of my life, and it's so much better now. And when they're around, I just don't have anything to do with them. You know, it took that much of a wake-up call, and I had to listen, because it was like, you know, Steve saying to me, you know, somebody right in the car, orally saying to me, get rid of the toxic people in your life. And that's exactly what the reason was.
Because you have to remember that forgiveness does not mean you have to continually put yourself back in the situation. You can forgive without allowing it to
And
continue.
the call to love doesn't mean you have to hang out.
Right.
Thanks. I hope we'll all keep sharing these stories, ones from our past and the new ones that are going to pop up. And the more that we listen for God's voice, the more often we will hear it. I truly believe God's communicating with us all the time, just most of the time we don't make ourselves an audience. Sometimes the messages we hear are for ourselves, and sometimes they're for others. Sometimes, like when I didn't listen to God telling me to go to seminary, God sends our messages to others who then become God's allies, helping us finally listen. By being consciously aware that God is still speaking, we can make ourselves more likely to hear and recognize the voice of God, regardless of whether God is trying to tell us something personally for us, or is giving us a message to pass along to someone else who's refusing to hear. May we be the people of God who listen for the voices in our heads, calling out to us, guiding us, encouraging us to take actions. Amen. We respond to the God